In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we honor and acknowledge Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of Niitsitapi Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as the Yara Nakota and Tsuut'ina nations. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all nations, Indigenous and non, who live, work, and play on this land, and who honor and celebrate this territory.
Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Pridecast brought to you by IKEA. I'm your host Sumit, my pronouns are he and they, and I handle production and programming at Calgary Pride. I am so thrilled about the episode we have planned out for you today. Happy Pride. Pride is celebration of resilience, community, and love, and this year is no different. Pride is an opportunity to recognize the contributions of 2S LGBTQ community, give thanks to the folks who have paved the path or paved the way, acknowledge how far we have come, and how far we still need to go. There are a ton of events happening this week, and some are in person while others are being streamed online. Stay tuned for some event highlights at the end of the episode. This year has highlighted the importance of creating space and visibility for folks who live in our city and the importance of resilient community. Join me every Friday where we'll feature guests in our local community who will share their experiences as 2S LGBTQ folks in Calgary, along with sharing all the upcoming events for this season's Pride. Today, we are honored to have a very special guest, Katie Windt. Katie was born and raised in Durban, South Africa. She's a seasoned professional, having toured and played at some of the largest music festivals the country hosts. She currently lives in Calgary with her wife and a daughter. Over the last 5 years, she has concentrated on her songwriting and recording new music, while exploring all that Calgary's music scene has to offer. She performs on regular basis at many venues throughout the city. Hi, Katie. Thank you for being here. Today is the first day of Calgary Pride's 31st ceremony. It's the 31st Pride Festival. I want to know, what does Pride mean to you?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Pride to me, it's kind of, being in Calgary especially, it's something that's really taken on a whole new meaning. It's the biggest thing is really just inclusion. I've never really been in a place where I felt so welcome, kind of by a community and just embraced. I mean, it is the most incredible experience. I know in the past, before COVID, going to all of the pride parades and everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. It is, it's just so vibrant and alive.
Yeah.
And I've just never felt so included. It's like giving you a big warm hug.
That's great. We have these Pride marches at Central Memorial Park. We call it a big hug.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll
That's
have
great.
to be there for that one.
Katie, please tell our viewers a bit about yourself and how did you get started in music?
So I'm originally from Durban, South Africa. I grew up there and lived there till I was 21 years old. It was an amazing place to grow up, and an even better place to be part of the music scene. My grandfather is the one who got me into music. He put me into piano lessons when I was young, and I hated them because I always played by ear. I hated to read music, and my piano teacher would constantly just like tap my wrist and constantly get me to try and read the music. But yeah, my grandfather is the whole reason that I do play music. And my latest single actually was kind of an ode to him. It's a song called Pink Cadillac, and his whole dream in life was to go to not New Orleans, Nashville.
Nashville.
It was some big music place, and rent a pink Cadillac and do the blues route, kind of from Nashville down to New Orleans. And he recently got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And when I found out about that, it kind of really shook my whole world. And it was, I just kind of had this thing that, no, it's not your time. Like, we've still got time to make that dream a reality. So yeah, that's what the song Pink Cadillac is about. But yeah, it's, growing up in Durban, I really loved it. Music scene is super vibrant. And after that, when I was 21, I moved to the States and spent 5 years traveling. And then I met my fiance, and now I am here in Calgary and love it.
That's amazing. So what your 5 year of travel, was it a travel journey for finding yourself, your music, or was it like all inclusive?
Yeah.
Or where did you travel? Just shed light on that. We
Yeah,
would
so
love to know.
I think it was a bit of everything, I went to an all-girls Catholic school when I was in school, and it was very kind of, my family and my social surroundings were quite conservative in Durban as far as being gay.
Yeah.
It was never really talked about, and like I remember in high school, when my best friend told me she had kissed a girl at a party, and I truly feared for her soul. Like, I thought she was going to hell. And so for me, when, I kind of had my first experience with a girl, it was a very confusing time.
Okay.
I just thought, am I doomed forever? What do I do? Because I really liked it. And so the travel, it was kind of an escape for me. I went and I worked on super yachts. So we were based out of Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And for me, it was the best thing. I mean, the yachting industry has so many different people from all over the world. I mean, you've got Australians, people from England, New Zealand, Canadians. So it was just this like huge melting pot of people. And so yeah, while I was there, I really took the time to kind of focus on myself and what I wanted. For a couple of years, I was very lost and kind of, had no real direction. And I was always just waiting for something to happen, like some sign to happen that was like, hey, this is what you need to be doing. And yeah, I eventually got it while I met Jen traveling. We met in Nicaragua. So
That's amazing. Was that the sign?
that was definitely the sign. I think there had been I'd gone through so many, like a string of bad relationships where I know probably a lot of people go, especially, when you're kind of just figuring out, like, am I gay? Am I not? For me, it wasn't like just this, I woke up and I was like, that's it, I'm gay. It was a very slow process. And, I think a lot of people that do that, they have a best friend, and then, you get drunk one night, and then it's like, well, do you feel the same way I do? So it was a lot of that. And then when I met Jen, it was just a very sure kind of awakening that was like, I think I just met the love of my life, and everything else needs to stop, and this is what I need to follow. So
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
it was great.
Katie, you're someone who has lived your life part in Durban, South Africa, and now you're in Calgary. Can you shed light on how your life as 2S LGBTQ person, or how life is different here as opposed to growing up in South Africa?
Growing up there, it was, like I said, it was amazing, but very conservative. My family being very religious. I have two aunts who are gay, but they were never kind of spoken about in the family. They were, but never their sexuality. So it was just something never spoken about. I didn't really even know anything about, the LGBTQ2S kind of community until, I was kind of a teenager, and one of my best friends, she was a lesbian, and I was like, wow, there is this whole world out there. So yeah, I think for me, like when I first had my first experience with a woman, it was mind blowing. It felt like fireworks.
In a good way.
In a really good way, really good way. It was like that first kiss. Literally, I still recall it so vividly, like the firework feeling. But with that came a lot of kind of that inner turmoil. I had a lot of friends say to me, please don't be gay.
Really?
Which I was like, I'm not choosing, this is not a choice for me. It's just something that I feel like this is where my life is supposed to go. And if I fight it, then I feel like I'm really not being true to myself. And, even with my parents who are so loving and accepting now, but it's been quite a rocky road to get there. When I kind of sat my mother down and said, well, first of all, the first time she found out was the girl that I'd had the first kiss with. I'd kind of like written a letter thing in my journal. And I remember my mom calling me into her room, and she just had the letter sitting next to her. And I literally wanted the ground to swallow me up. I was like, this is awful. This is literally my worst nightmare come true.
So you wrote her the letter?
But I was never going to give it to her.
Okay.
It was just like kind of, just like expressing my feelings, which, comes back into a lot of my songwriting as well. I find it's the best way to express my feelings. But yeah, I'd written this thing, and I deliberately like left out any pronouns or anything. So I was like, nobody's going to know it's about a girl. And my mom was like, I know exactly who this is about. So we kind of had that talk, and my mom was just like, it's a phase, don't worry. Everything will be fine. And I did, for a while. I went back. I had a couple of boyfriends, and I tried really hard to be straight. I really did. But I always felt like something was missing. And that was, when I went traveling, I'd kind of just keep searching for that. Like every relationship I ever had, there was always just something that didn't feel like that 100% connection that I really wanted. And so coming from that and then coming to Calgary, it was like night and day. I couldn't believe that I could walk down the street with my partner holding hands, and nobody even has a second glance. Like nobody cares. And that was such an amazing thing to and it's such a small thing that other people can do, but they don't know how much of a difference it makes in someone's life. When you are at a restaurant or something, and the fact that I'm able to, hold hands across the table and not get, kind of those judgmental looks or those really
stares.
Uncomfortable, the stares and the uncomfortable feelings. I felt Calgary really has just, it's a place where you can be whoever you want to be, and that's okay with everyone around you. And to be fair, I haven't been back in Durban. I haven't been living there in 10 years. So I don't know what it's like now. But from when I was living there, and, even 4 years ago, I went home with Jen for the first time. And I still felt really uncomfortable kind of holding hands in public. And, even my parents, I bless them, but, they're just kind of like, you don't need to do that. Where we are,
That is interesting.
You can still be together, just don't show it. So not everyone needs to know, right? It's kind of like a very hush-hush, keep your gayness to the side.
Interesting. That is the relatable part. I think when I go to India, everyone knows I have a partner, but it's always just we're kind of distanced.
Yeah.
And you're together, but you can't do those things that you would normally do.
Exactly.
Very relatable.
It is. It's it is quite a thing to have to kind of feel like you need to hold back all the time. It's a constant feeling of that. So, yeah.
So, Katie, do you think your career in music has helped you come in terms with your sexuality? or your queer identity?
Yeah, I think absolutely. You know, music for me has, like I said, always been a way to express myself. I started guitar really, I actually started guitar because there was this boy that I liked when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And
Scandalous.
I was very scandalous. And he was really good at guitar. And I thought the only way I could get close to him was if I asked him if he could teach me to play. So he taught me one song. It was like a Blink-182 song. And I went home and I played it and I played it. And I was like, I'm going to get really good at it so I can really impress him next time. And kind of while I was, figuring that out, I remember I was just like, well, let me see if I can just, play something else. And so I just typed into Google, like, how to play guitar. And a bunch of stuff came up and I became obsessed with it. Like, boy, long forgotten. I was like, this is my new love. And I would play for hours and hours every day, like till my fingers were so broken I had to put super glue on them to, because if you play a lot, your fingers get so tender. So if you put super glue on, it kind of makes a nice, kind of callus, so it doesn't hurt so much.
Never heard of that before.
There you go. But so yeah, I played and played and I just really, really became obsessed with it. And as soon as I kind of got those first 4 chords down, I found I could start writing my own songs. I had so many melodies inside my head. And most of the time my head is just a complete scramble anyway. So for me to kind of take all that noise and make something beautiful out of it, it really helped me to just kind of categorize my thoughts and my feelings and put them into like a happy song or a sad song. And I just found myself, kind of writing about everything. My relationships, I would like write songs about my brother and his girlfriend's relationships. Like anything, anywhere I could find inspiration, I would just take it and try and turn it into something. And when I was kind of going through finding out who I am and everything, for me, that was, I had to take all these feelings of like kind of turmoil and figure out, am I, how to, sorry, I'm losing, figure out how to, kind of put those thoughts into songs. But again, going back to, the conservative nature of my family and everything, that was something that I was like, well, do I say it's about a girl, or do I just kind of pretend, like change the words a little bit so that nobody really knows, who I'm singing about?
It's interesting you bring that up. It's you kind of like not include the gender, kind of like sanitize that part of the song, but still express your feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's your medium to express, put your energies into the universe through your music as a queer individual who's not openly able to express.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're able to express.
It is, but it's just like I know and they know, but nobody else knows. Which is like so much of every gay person's life, right? So, but yeah, it was, I found that to be an amazing way. And then I started, when I was maybe in my early 20s, started listening to a lot more music. Actually, the Calgary artists, Tegan and Sarah, were some of the first queer musicians I listened to that, they came out, I think, in their album Heartthrob. Everybody knew, but they never really sang, they never really used any of the pronouns in their songs. And then on Heartthrob, I think, they had a bunch of songs that just really addressed, like, this song is about a woman. And I loved that. I loved that, I felt you didn't have to hide it. That I think I always had such a big fear that if I did, make it aware that it was about a woman, that people wouldn't listen to my music. They'd never give it a chance, right? Like if they kind of looked at it and they were like, oh, well, this is, a lesbian song, I'm not going to listen to it. I don't believe in that stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, for me, I was like, I want my music to reach so many people. And I just had this fear that if I sang about who I really was, that it would really narrow my market. If anything, I feel like it's just widened it now. So I'm really glad that, I made that change. So, yeah.
Fun, friends, and food trucks. Oh my, you don't want to miss this Calgary Pride's kickoff food truck street party tonight, August 27th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Take in live music, drag performances, and most importantly, food trucks. Find us in East Village along Riverfront Lane. Special thanks to East Village and our friend Scott, the Dogfather. Our friends at Center for Sexuality have proudly hosted Southern Alberta's Camp Firefly since 2013. Camp Firefly is an important way for 2S LGBTQ youth to find a supportive community and mentors. At the same time, enjoy activities and workshops. The 9th annual Pride Brunch in support of Camp Firefly on Saturday, September 4th is an opportunity to support these youth and ensure no camper is turned away due to the cost. Enjoy brunch from home with a curbside pickup from local restaurants or get a full VIP experience at Hotel Arts. To purchase your tickets and for more info, visit centerforsexuality.ca. Katie, you did express that expressing your queer identity in your songs kind of widened your audience. What were some of the artists that inspired you to write or sing and create music?
Yeah, I think my biggest one would be there's this band from Durban, South Africa, and they're no longer together, but they were called Stealing Love Jones, and the lead singer was SJ. And I remember, I think I was like 15 or 16 years old, and I went in my hometown. They have these concerts on the beach in the summertime.
Sounds very
amazing.
Really,
really great. They have like a surf competition in the day and then these concerts at night. It's awesome. And I remember being there and seeing her perform, and she was just such a badass. She like had this electric guitar. She like was finished the song, threw it across the stage, and then like punched her guitarist. And I was like, wow. Like didn't actually punch him. I think it was just for show, I think. But I remember looking at him being like, I want to be that. And I was just like, it was the first kind of time, in my teenage life that I'd found something I was like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So, and it was kind of around that time that I was just learning guitar. And I found out that SJ ran the local open mic. And I was like, right, I'm a super fan. This is how I'm going to get to meet her. So I practiced until I had everything down. Went psyched myself up for the first open mic, and I got there and she wasn't there, and the guys running it were like, oh, she's actually in the States for 3 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, which was fine. It gave me 3 months to kind of really, get the open mic nights down. And after that time, she came back. And I wasn't prepared. Like I showed up like I always did on Monday night, and I saw her. Then I was like, oh God, I'm not ready for this. And my best friend Joanna was like, you've got this, it's fine. So I had to go up and ask her if I could borrow her guitar. And she was like, oh my God, of course, she was so nice. And so I used the guitar, and while I was performing this song, it was like a cover of a well-known song from South Africa. She got up on stage and started harmonizing with me and playing the drum, and I was just like, I nearly had a heart attack on stage. I was just like, this is the best moment of my life. And she was amazing. She kind of like took me under her wing, and from then on, she would have me open a lot of her shows. So I'd be the opening act, and I eventually went on tour, like helping out with her merchandise and all of that. So she was a huge influence in my musical career, but also kind of in my queer identity as well, because she was with a woman, and again, she was just such an incredible role model to have, because she was this like badass musician, businesswoman. She was out and she was proud of it. And, like I said, in Durban, that was something I had never really been exposed to. And I was like, if she can do it, why can't I? So that was, just really, really incredible to see. And then, like I said, Tegan and Sarah as well. Oh man, their music got me through all of those years of angst. I still listen to it. I actually put some Tegan and Sarah on yesterday, and my fiance was like, wow, that's a throwback to some heartbreak. I'm like, I know. It's the best. But yeah, for them, I again, and it's so funny because I never knew I knew they were from Calgary, but to me, Calgary was just a place in the world. And so when I moved here, I kind of made that connection again, and I was like, that's insane. And my fiance was like, yeah, they went to my high school. Like, she didn't know them. And I was like, what? And then one of my best friends, she's friends with their dad, and my wife, my fiance recently had a baby last year, and my friend got Tegan and Sarah to send us like some merch. And so it was like a letter from Tegan and Sarah that was like, hope you're getting enough sleep.
It's like a dream come true. Your first baby.
I know, my first baby. And then a letter from Tegan and Sarah and merchandise. I was like, what is happening in my life? All my dreams have come true now. Yeah. It's all good. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Katie, you mentioned that your fiance, Jen, and yourself are going through a fertility treatment. Could you please shed light for the viewers on the journey of being a parent, or your journey of parenthood thus far? What are some of the roadblocks that you may have faced thus far?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. For me, for both Jen and I think I find that there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot of information, especially in Calgary, for how to even start this process. And it's a lot of work. For us, we went with choosing a donor from an online donor, and that in itself, it's crazy. It's almost like a dating website, but it's for
a donor.
A donor. It's they have all these options, and it's got pictures and all the information about them.
How many profiles you went through? Well, not a exact number, but
I couldn't even tell you the exact number because we spent 3 months trying to whittle it down to our top 5. And even then, when we kind of called for it, it was oh, they're not available, or there's a 2-year wait list for this donor. So it was crazy. If anyone is starting this journey, my first recommendation, if you are looking to use a donor, start now. Find your donor, because if you're set on someone and you need to be on that 2-year wait list, just get it done. You can keep it nice stored away until you need it. But yeah, kind of after that, and you go. Calgary has this incredible fertility program at the regional fertility clinic here, and they are amazing. The one thing that I found to be a little odd, and I don't know if they do this for heterosexual couples as well, but when you're starting, the fertility journey, they make you do a interview with a psychologist or psychiatrist to make sure that you're kind of fit enough to be parents and that you know what you're doing. I do get the reasoning behind it, that they want to make sure that, especially a same-sex couple, you need to be prepared on how are you going to tell the child where they came from, all of that stuff. But it just kind of, I don't know, I was like, do you vet everyone? Do you make sure everyone is ready to have a child, through this process? So yeah, for that, there's just a lot to it. All of the testing and everything that you go through. Right now, my, like I said, Jen has already had a child, and hopefully I am next. So from when I've started doing all of my testing and stuff, we've actually been, we've been documenting it all. So I've just been taking, a couple of videos of everything, because I wish I had that. I wish that I could have seen, what all of these tests entail, and what to expect, especially when things go wrong, kind of how to deal with that. And there's so many different options, and they weren't kind of made clear to us in the beginning. And, kind of once you've tried once, twice, 3 times, and then you're like, well, why didn't you tell me that the first time? Because I would have done that. So I think for me, I want to get the word out there on like how, what all the options are so that people can make that decision for themselves instead of having to, keep making mistakes and then only find out afterwards they could have done it this way.
So, Katie, what are your upcoming plans?
Oh man, they never end. I've in the last year and a half, I released my first 4 singles. The 3 of them I recorded up at this incredible studio up in Edmonton, Velveteen Studios, and I love what they did with the songs. Incredible producers that I worked with. And so they're all out on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to your music, you can find those. And then I also recorded with a local artist here in Calgary for that Pink Cadillac song. It's a much more stripped down song kind of compared to the other 3. The other 3, I kind of took from my influences of like Meatloaf, Enya, but Celine Dion, all these just, a lot of these influences. Yeah. And just, when you work with an incredible producer like that, they're able to just take what's in your head and make it a reality. But yeah, Pink Cadillac is, a lot more stripped down version. And then my upcoming plans, I found another producer here in Calgary that I'm hoping to kind of release again, a more stripped down acoustic EP, just with a couple of songs on them that I'd really love to get out there. And yeah, I'm kind of just starting to get back into performing live again. Finally, things are opening up. So I do, kind of like once a month, or I often play at Brewster's. Right now it's going to be the Brewster's in Airdrie. And just really going to start, trying to get back into the live scene. I've been doing a lot of, Facebook Live, Instagram Live and stuff, which is amazing because, you can reach so many people. But there's nothing quite like an actual live show.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Katie, if people are interested in following your work as an artist, where can they find you?
So yeah, probably the best place would be my Instagram account. It's probably the one I try and keep up to date the most. But yeah, that's Katie Vint Music. I think it's just at Katie Vint Music. And yeah,
Spotify.
Spotify, absolutely. You can follow me on there. Like I said, iTunes, Amazon Music, anywhere that you can stream music, you can find me. I also have my YouTube channel. That I try and post, just like little live clips of covers or whatever I've done, post that up there. And yeah, those are probably, the best ways. And if you need to contact me for anything, I always have my email is just the katievintmusic@gmail.com. But
easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Thank you so much, Katie, for being here and part of this. I really appreciate you coming and sharing your journey.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for for inviting me here. I think it's an incredible thing that you're doing. Just getting everyone's stories out there. It's amazing, and I'm really, really looking forward to all of the episodes that are going to be coming out.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. The app is back. Plan your Pride Week by downloading the Calgary Pride app on your Apple device or Google Play. Save your favorite artists and events and build your own custom schedule. Download the app now. On August 31st, join Manvinder Singh Gohil, Crown Prince of Rajpipla, India, and world's first openly gay prince. Prince Manvinder is the only Indian to be featured at Oprah Winfrey on 3 different occasions and has appeared twice on Keeping Up with Kardashians. On this one-on-one conversation with Prince Manvinder, we will share his lived experiences of complex and sometimes conflicting identities, impacts on mental health for 2S LGBTQ folks and people of color, and how ethnic communities can move the dial on inclusion. The event is taking place virtually on August 31st, 8 p.m. MDT. Tickets are free and available on ShowPass. We invite everyone to tune in virtually for a courageous conversation about navigating our own conflicting identities. There are also a variety of Our Pride initiatives running this week. A free voguing dance class with Esker Foundation on August 29th. Buy a Love is Love candle by Vada Beauty. And check out all our interesting Our Pride initiatives that are happening throughout the city with affirming businesses through Our Pride. And check out our website for more details. We would also like to spotlight some of Calgary Pride's partners who make programs like Pridecast possible. TD, IKEA, our official media partner, Bell Media, local businesses like Pony Friday who are supporting us with merchandise this year, Imperial, Fido, and Benevity. And of course, the many others who aren't listed here. Also, a special round of applause to IKEA Calgary for their resounding support of Calgary Pride this year. Don't forget to visit calgarypride.ca to find latest details on 2021 Big Pride Festival. Choose your Pride experience and tune in from the comfort of your home and your living room. Join us in person at Big Art Drive-In. Remember to get your free tickets on Show Pass as capacity is limited with health and safety in mind. Be safe as you celebrate. Join us next Friday for another episode of Pridecast. See you then.